There are few voices that are more recognizable than the friendly of our friend Mario. Throughout his long history, he has always had that iconic and signature voice. Aside from a few early interpretations of the character, Mario has pretty much sounded the same since 1996. However, it took his brother Luigi a little bit longer to stick the landing thanks to a strange and misguided journey during his time on the Nintendo 64. Welcome to KotBox, and today we're going to be talking about how Luigi found his voice, otherwise known as the phenomena called the Bardakoff split. Let's talk Luigi. Initially just a palette swap of Mario, the only trait he gained was that he was eventually portrayed as the taller brother. He was the embodiment of Player 2. Then in 1996, Super Mario 64 launched across the world, debuting Charles Martinet's first proper performance as Mario in a video game. Luigi, however, was nowhere to be seen. His first appearance wouldn't be until Mario Kart 64, a handful of months later. However, what if I said that Mario Kart 64 was the crux of an event that would cause Luigi to separate into two entirely different entities, going down separate timelines that would eventually merge at the end to create Luigi as we know him today? Oh, this is the event that I call the Bardakoff split. Let's start this story by talking about a man named Julian Bardakoff. He was a former Nintendo of Europe France employee who worked in French localization and translation across many Nintendo titles. However, this isn't all he's done. Charles Martinet may have voiced Luigi when Mario Kart 64 released internationally, but in the original Japanese release of the game, Luigi had an entirely different voice provided by Bardakoff. Martinet gave Luigi a slightly deeper voice, where Bardakoff, on the other hand, had a much higher-pitched tone.
Here we go! Mamma mia! Bingo! Ho 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 ho!
Here we go! Mamma mia! Bingo!
From this point on, Bardakoff and Martinet would go on to voice Luigi in a selection of other titles on the N64 simultaneously, causing this back and forth between the different presentations of Luigi. It was at this point where Luigi's timeline splits in two. Bardakoff's next appearance as Luigi would be in 1998's Mario Party. His voice work is a slightly more fleshed out version of his Luigi from Mario Kart 64 with that same higher tone.
Yaha! I'm the best! Ow, 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 ow! Yahoo!
Initially I had a somewhat negative reaction to this radically different voice. Kinda sounded like someone gave him a Luigi. But when you think about it, Bardakoff really didn't have a whole lot to go off of. At this point, a lot of the characters hadn't been given a lot of voices until this game. It was a wild west of voices that were all trying to find their place in the 64-bit era. After Mario Party, we take a slight deviation to Super Smash Bros. In this game, Luigi was never given his own proper voice. His character just uses slightly pitched up samples of Mario's voice. And on top of that, all of Mario's voice clips were just reused from Super Mario 64.
Here we go! Whoa! Yeah!
My guess is this was all done to save time. However, that technically means he was voiced by Martinet in these titles, so we'll add that game to his timeline. After Super Smash Bros., the next title where Martinet properly voiced Luigi would be Mario Golf in 1999. While Bardakoff was busy with Mario Party, Charles Martinet was prominently voicing Luigi in the sports titles released by Camelot Games. He doesn't really express much character in this game outside of generic voice clips, except for the opening where his golf ball goes out of bounds and all of his friends stand around him just to point and laugh at his misfortune. Seems a bit harsh. Ridicule aside, he has this very casual sound about his voice, especially compared to Mario's bouncing and excited tone. I would argue this is Luigi's deepest voice to date.
Hurry up already, eh? I'm giving myself a 5. Pretty good. Mamma mia!
Going back to Bardakoff, he would show up again roughly half a year later when Mario Party 2 released. It would mostly reuse the voice clips Bardakoff recorded for the original game, but it still supported this awkward, lanky version of Luigi he had previously set up.
Yaha! Ho! Yahoo!
Which means we can place that on his timeline. The next title to be released was Mario Tennis in 2000. Luigi gets to show off a little bit more personality in this game. Martinet continues to give him that deeper, confident tone he had previously. In the opening of this game, Luigi is even shown standing up to Wario and Waluigi without showing a shred of concern. He even goes as far as to say he's unafraid right to their faces.
Come back here, what's the matter for you? Oh boy, Luigi win. Luigi not afraid.
It's really weird, since we've spent all this time getting used to Luigi being such a scaredy cat, seeing him stand up and be unafraid is a very strange contrast to how we know the character these days. So at this point, Luigi has been properly split in two for some time now, even down to how his in-game character model was presented. All of the games that Bardakoff voiced tended to have Luigi as a slimmer, more awkward type, while all the games voiced by Martinet portrayed him as this stockier and seemingly confident character. This leaves us with a very strange contrast. What did Nintendo want from him as a character? However, after a long and confusing journey near the end of the N64's lifespan, Luigi finally closes in on finding his true self. In 2001, just 6 months before the launch of the Nintendo GameCube, Mario Party 3 was released. This game is one of the final steps of Luigi's difficult journey of self-discovery. This would be the first Mario Party that Bardakoff was absent from, and in turn was Martinet's first performance for the Mario Party series. It would also be the first occasion of hearing the voice that would define Luigi for years to come.
Yeah, I'm the best. Yeah, Luigi the superstar.
Though absent from Mario Party 3, Bardakoff would make one final appearance in Mario Kart Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance, which would reuse his Mario Kart 64 voice samples. It was released just a few months before the GameCube hit shelves. And of course, once the public had their hands on the GameCube, Luigi would make his permanent mark in defining his character, with Luigi's Mansion launching alongside the system. Luigi finally finished his journey from a character split in two and solidified himself as the scared, lovable brother we all know him as today. It's such a strange phenomenon that this split even happened. Due to the final appearance of Luigi on the N64 releasing so close to the launch of the GameCube, he really struggled with a sense of identity during this era. It's kind of funny because this is the era that made me such a big Luigi fan. I guess I really didn't care what way he was presented as long as I got more Luigi. I guess I just like green. But hey, shout out to Julian Bardakoff for helping Luigi along his journey of finding his voice. And as always, don't forget to...
Oh, yeah.
Alright, thanks for tuning into another episode of KotBox. We'll see you next time.
Get away!